Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick video going over what a Kazooie fast cancel is, also known as a KFC among the Smash community, as well as how it's different than something like a typical egg ladder. So let me start with the beginning one first, or the ladder one first. So an egg ladder is when you do neutral B, hold the B to get out Kazooie, then you shoot the egg, which pops the opponent up, then you jump, shoot, jump, shoot, so forth. So what this looks like is something like this. Now, you don't actually want to hold the A button down to shoot or the B button or whatever you use, only because it shoots too fast. So if you hold down the shoot button and jump, it eventually just falls out after one or two. So the trick is to time it. So jump, shoot, jump, so forth. It is a true combo. The opponent can slightly DI it once they're at a certain percentage where it puts them into like tumble, but it's not DI-able enough to break out of it. So even if you end up doing, even if they're like DIing left or right, you can still chase with it. And because Kazooie is held close to the body and the hitbox is actually pretty large, it's a true follow-up. And some ideas of what you can do with egg ladders are things like just what you saw there before. That doesn't do much percentage, 14%, but you can get more percent out of it. You can do things like shoot, jump, shoot, and then fall, and then cancel the Brigo Blaster into like up tilt or up air, so you can get things like this. And that's just the start of it. So you can end up getting about 30% out of things like that. So wow, that's actually a hard hitbox to do that. Okay, that's amazing that that clipped that a few times. Okay, that's what I had in mind. So that's a good 30, 40%. Now you're not going to get like 70% like Steve, and you're not going to kill off of that. And even at certain percentages, you'll fly farther and it won't connect as true. But you can find out depending on where you hit different options. Now the classic is to do egg into up air, things like that. It works at most percentages. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does put the opponent in a pretty bad spot. You can either like try to bait where they're gonna go, if they're gonna air dodge, you can try to call out things like that. But that's what an egg ladder is in so many words. It's just egg, jump, so forth. Now, what a KFC is it actually utilizes a mechanic in the game that really shouldn't be in there. So in a typical egg ladder, when you do want to do an attack other than the Kazooie shot, you press shield. Now, shield I think gives you like an 11 frame Kazooie put away. So that 11 frames is not enough to do something like, let's say, to jump Wonder Wing. So a normal one like this, you just can't pull it off because there is not enough frame time to do it. It's close, and because it's close, that's actually why the Kazooie fast cancel works. And the Kazooie fast cancel, instead of just pressing shield to put Kazooie away, the last egg that you shoot, you actually input a smash attack. So you can either do forward and A like a normal smash, or if you play with C-stick, you can hold forward and press C-stick in that direction. You do actually have to hold forward if you just tap the direction. For some reason, it doesn't do the input, so you almost have to be walking with it. Or, this is what I recommend, is turn on a A-B smash. That would mean that if you could see the inputs I'm doing, I'm hitting A and B at the same time to shoot Kazooie. You can also map it to a different button like special, so like AX if that's easier. But the way that this works is you do the A-B shot, then immediately you press backwards and shield almost at the same time. So what you end up with is that. So notice how quickly Kazooie is going away. You can do it standing. And the way that that mechanic happens to work is it lets you do something like this, which is an actual true combo. Notice how Mario almost died at 30%. So you can imagine on a stage with small blast zones or even one with standard blast zones, something like 60%, it's okay. It's a really good kill option. I'm sure it's DIable, but I don't know if you're living that at 60%. And because the egg has a standard typical knockback, it's gonna kill even at like much higher percentages. So let's say you manage to get the person to 120, like it's not window specific. This is still going to work. Well, okay, maybe not right when the opponent's at the edge, but it will work anywhere else. So the way to learn this and how I practice this is I just went to the training stage. Probably should have started that off there. But when you're at the training stage, you just want to practice doing the inputs over and over. It won't be super climactic. It won't be all that enjoyable, but nonetheless, you do need to learn the inputs before you can practice them in a match. Almost just drill it. Just make it like it's a set of drills to practice over and over. So the way that I would recommend doing it, and the way that I did this, is just to practice that's the end goal. That's what you want to do in the end. But you want to build all the components up. So you want to practice just this. So that's a hop, hold B, then press, I press A or A, B smash at the end there, just to practice. So you want to get that down because that's going to be the starters of a lot of the ways that you end up killing. And kind of a tangent there. You'll notice any banjo that plays will also do egg into up tilt, things like this. That's not a Kazooie fast cancel. That's just a normal cancel. That's normally just when you press shield after it. They actually coded this so that there is enough time to just, kind of like the meme, just walk up and up tilt. You just hit with the egg, up tilt. It's very gratuitous, actually. There's a lot of time to do it. You don't even have to be, it's nowhere near frame perfect because the eggs give you so much hit stun that around 125, like what Mario's at now, it actually just kills off the top of almost all stages. So one of his best killing options. Now maybe it's not quite as fancy as like what an actual KFC is, because sure that looks cool, but that is one way to kill. So if you find that the KFC, the inputs are just too difficult, and we'll go over exactly how to practice that in just next, but if you find that that's too difficult and you're misinputting it and it's frustrating, but you still really love Banjo, just honestly don't worry about it. Just practice egg ladders, things like that, because they're still cool. They do a little bit less damage. Okay, a lot of bit less damage, but the up tilt still a great kill confirm. Still really good move set combo to add to your repertoire. But to practice KFCs, you want to just go onto a training stage and get that down. And then you want to practice doing A-B smash. And then once you get that done, then what you want to do is to do this. And the way that this is done is you do A-B smash, and then you press shield, and then you press reverse. And you'll know you got it right if Kazooie just goes back into the backpack and you're facing the other way. If you're getting a roll like this, it means you're holding the shield button either too long or you're hitting the control stick too hard in the opposite direction. So what you're looking for is A-B smash, shield, reverse direction. In that order, but you want to be clean with the inputs so that you've completely finished the input before pressing the next one. And what I mean by that is you want to do A-B smash. Your fingers want to be off the button. You want to hit shield. Your fingers want to be off the button. Then you want to hit backwards. Your fingers want to be off the previous shield button. Otherwise, you'll muddle the inputs and you'll get either buffered rolls or things that just don't come out right. And altogether, it'll look like that. Maybe 190% is too much, but you can do things like that off of the ground. And what I recommend doing if you're having a little bit of trouble pressing shield in reverse, you want to think of the reverse input as anything in the opposite direction of the way you're facing, meaning it doesn't have to be, like if I'm facing right, it doesn't have to be the 9 o'clock direction on a clock. It can be 11. It just slightly off-centered facing the other direction. I've heard other people also do, instead of like 9 o'clock, they would do 7 o'clock. So bottom left or bottom right for if you're facing this way. I happen to go to the upright direction. I can't I wish it showed like the input, but picture a clock. Picture where 11 o'clock is on the clock. That's where I end up going typically. So it'll be egg, smash input, 11 o'clock, or shield, then 11 o'clock. Altogether, it looks like this. Oh, well, hold on. Actually, altogether, it just looks like this. That's what you want to practice. You want to practice egg, egg, shield, 11 o'clock. Making sure that the second egg that you're doing, the one right before it pops them up, is done with an A-B smash. Or if you like the smash stick, when you're walking forward, you smash it in the direction you're walking, and then do the shield from there. I might mention, there are some videos on, I think, Roto Rotembo, who originally came up with this or kind of made it known to the public. There are ways to do smash or landing turnaround cancels, which is if you shoot the egg right before you land, it lets you cancel the turnaround, and then you can kind of quickly stow away Kazooie and then jump and whatever. I don't actually recommend doing that. I think it's better just to learn the smash cancel because anything that you do with that, you can also do with the same input. So it doesn't matter whether you're landed, whether you're on the ground, you can always get that cancel. So one more time as to what I recommend doing is approach with neutral B, hold B, pop up, input the smash, press shield, then do the direction away. And it should look like this. And once it looks like that, the reason why the Kazooie fast cancel is a thing basically is the 11 frames that you normally put away Kazooie are gone. So you can jump, you can do fair, you can do Wonder Wing, so you can get creative with it. You can do things like this. Also a true combo. Non-DIable because the egg sends you in a fixed knockback. Imagine situations where you wanted to just do fair off the stage, but you wanted to cover it up with being safe with eggs. The classic way that will get you the most kind of notoriety is, of course, finishing stocks with Wonder Wing, and people will be like, why did that work? Is that true? The answer is yeah, because the way that the cancel works, it gets rid of the ending animation frames. So you can just cancel it into anything you want. And another thing, you will want to practice both sides. When I was learning, I really could only do it facing right because I hadn't trained my mind to input the right diagonal on the stick. If the diagonal is a little too hard, you can just do the opposite direction, like the actual 3 or 9 o'clock. But I find that kind of when you're in the heat of the moment and you press reverse, you might like hit it real hard, which, and I don't know why this is, I wish I knew the mechanics enough, but if you hit the other direction way too hard, it does actually make you roll. I don't understand exactly why, so you have to just kind of nudge it in the other direction, which I think is using the 11 or 1 o'clock, it inputs less of the reverse direction to prevent the rolls. So I always recommend doing just what I had mentioned, the 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So again, you want to do egg, egg, smash, shield, turn around, jump, Wonder Wing. That's kind of the gold standard. Um, and another cool thing that you can do with it is think about the utilizations of the egg ladder on how ladders can give you good placement. Um, you can actually take even earlier stocks on platforms by doing things like if you manage to clip this, you can do egg, egg, cancel, Wonder Wing. So what it would look like is egg, egg, cancel. Oh, okay, messed that up. Because that last hit, you do have to do A-B smash, and you have to make sure that you're actually releasing properly, else you won't get it. I promise I know how to do this. Would be like that. Maybe 145 is too high for that to really connect. But if you have the opponent that high, you probably wouldn't want to finish it with that anyway. You could do something else. There we go. So that is also true, and that's a good way to kill off platforms. At lower percentages, if you didn't want to burn a Wonder Wing, but you still wanted it to look cool, you could just cancel the what would be a Wonder Wing into an F smash. Also true. Heck, I think you can even charge it a little bit at 0. Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So you don't need to do any special controls. My personal controls, I have X set to special. I do personally play with Smash Stick, but you don't need to. Most of the time, my cancels are actually just A/B Smash instead anyway, so you don't actually need to worry about whether you use Tilt or Smash Stick. I think Tilt Stick is better overall, because 4 Tilt is harder to do when you don't have tilts turned on, and Banjo's tilts are really good. But I'm used to just catching 2 frames with Smashes, and I don't know, I've been playing Smash forever. I'm in my 30s, and the, the yellow stick on a game controller has always done a Smash attack, so stuck in our ways, right? Yeah, so again, just practice the inputs. Make sure, if I had any list of tips, make sure that your inputs are clean. You're releasing the previous input before you input the next one. It doesn't have to be immediate either. Let me see if I can hold the microphone. I'm sorry, I don't have a screen capture card, so I'm using a Bluetooth headset hooked up to my iPhone. So I'm sorry if I'm blowing out the audio. I don't really know how to fix it, so for what it's worth, I'm trying my best. But if you can hear this, I'm going to do the inputs right into the control stick or right into the microphone. So it sounds like this. So I don't know if that's coming across or not, but it's basically 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's not all at once. There are a definitive 1, 2, 3. And the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. Once you start getting like what you can see right now on the ground without buffering rolls, once you can start doing that, then the rest of it implementing into a game should be pretty easy. I actually think it's easier sometimes in a game than when you're just practicing, which is why I recommend um, finishing the whole combo instead of just standing in place. I do recommend trying to hit Mario. Like the eggs have a very definite hit stun, and you'll get used to what you can and can't do. So there are certain distances, like if you're this far away, it won't work just because Mario won't get hit by the second egg true. Well, I guess that was far enough. But just play around with it. Just go into training and do that input over and over. Oh, and you don't even have to hit with the first egg. If you whiff with the first egg and they're close enough, you can still cancel it with the second egg. It's not the first egg into the second egg that makes it true. It's the second egg into the cancel, which makes it true. Um, and if you can't do egg ladders yet, I recommend working on that first. The KFC is nice. It gives you nice options to cancel into a fair or to a Wonder Wing, but you really want to have the foundation of being able to juggle and follow-ups in the air and knowing like what works and what doesn't before you start trying to get fancy with it. Um, yeah. So if there's any questions, hit me up on Discord. I'll post this to my YouTube as well, so just reach out to me there. Um, I've been playing banjo since he came out, basically. Haven't been able to do this technique for the longest time. I think I learned at SmashCon 2022 from a couple people that really persuaded me to try to continue learning it. Again, it's not necessary. If you find the inputs hard or you're not into learning that kind of stuff, don't sweat it. Banjo's still a cool character. I think he's a lot better than people think he is. He's not a top tier, he's not a high tier probably, but he is a very solid mid tier. In my opinion, he's solo mainable. Toriguri just not three stock, 3-0'd MKLeo at Battle of BC, which is a great video to watch. He does actually pull off a KFC, one of the ladder combos into Wonder Wings right in the middle of the match against MKLeo. The commentators didn't even understand what they were looking at, and that's kind of why I wanted to go over this. Yeah, so again, hit me up if you have any questions. I'm always more than happy to talk about Banjo. I love the character.